Writing a chemical reaction equation. How to write a chemical equation? Suppose we take the case of burning of magnesium in air or oxygen. You know that in this reaction, when magnesium burns in air or oxygen, the product formed is magnesium oxide. It will burn with a white dazzling flame. The product obtained is magnesium oxide. The word equation for this reaction can be written as magnesium plus oxygen gives magnesium oxide. How can you convert this word equation to skeletal equation? That is the rough equation which we write using the symbols or the formula of the reactants and the products. In this particular example, the reactants are magnesium and oxygen. Magnesium is a metal. So whenever we have metals appearing in the equation, how should the metals be represented? It should be represented only using the metal should be represented using its symbol. All the metals should be represented using their symbols. So here in this case, magnesium being a metal, we write the symbol of magnesium Mg plus oxygen is a diatomic gas. So it should be written as a molecule. The molecule of oxygen is diatomic. So we write it as O2. Now we get the equation as Mg plus O2 gives magnesium oxide. The formula of magnesium oxide is MgO. So that is the skeletal equation. Mg plus O2 gives MgO. Now why this is known as a skeletal equation? See, that is based on whether we get the number of atoms of each element either as same on both sides of the equation or we get it only as different. Here in this case, the number of atoms of magnesium present on the reactant side is 1 and on the product side with magnesium oxide, the number of atoms of magnesium present is 1. That means 1 atom of magnesium is present on both sides of the equation. But see the number of atoms of oxygen. On the reactant side, the number of atoms of oxygen is 2, O2. So it is 2 atoms of oxygen. Whereas on the product side, with MgO, we have only 1 atom of oxygen. So since the number of atoms are not the same on both sides of the equation, we call it as a skeletal equation. Balancing a chemical reaction equation. When we write a skeletal equation, it should be converted into a balanced chemical equation. And why balancing is essential? It is because, as I have told you earlier, all chemical reactions takes place according to the law of conservation of mass. And you know that according to that law, the mass of the reactants, the total mass of the reactants should be equal to the total mass of the products. Now this can happen only if the total number of atoms of each element is the same on both sides of the equation. So that is why we say that it is always important to write the balanced chemical equation. Consider the reaction of hydrogen with oxygen to form water. How can you write the skeletal equation? The reactants are hydrogen and oxygen. So these should be written on the left hand side of the equation, and the product is water. It should be written on the right hand side of the equation, and you should place an arrow between the reactants and the products. Hydrogen and oxygen, the reactants, hydrogen and oxygen are diatomic molecules. So it should be written as H2 and O2. The formula of water is H2O. So we write the skeletal equation as H2 plus O2 gives H2O.